We out here!
Welcome back.
I've been waiting all week for this.
Yeah, back to room 604.
I wanted to record in the middle of the week, but she didn't have time for me, so...
No, I was busy.
I was busy too, but... I was busy getting all these stories, hand-picking, curating them.
Right.
It's a tough job. It's not easy out here. So yeah, it was episode...
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Quattro?
Cuatro.
We made it. No, we say quattro out here.
Cuatro.
ESPN El Ocho. I had to explain. Do you know ESPN El Ocho? Do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
Do you know the movie Dodgeball?
Sort of.
With Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn. And...
I don't think I've seen it though.
Oh man. I was telling my students I need to watch it, but like the preview for it, I mean, it's like it's a Ben Stiller movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot out there.
Yeah,
Probably
it's not completely appropriate, but
that's probably why I didn't watch it then.
Maybe, but that was a good movie. We're gonna watch it now, actually. Right after this, we'll watch it, and you can give a review on Dodgeball.
Nope. We have to clean.
Post podcast.
Clean right after this.
I guess. Shout out to my students, Jose and Jesus. I said I would shout them out. They told me I got to. I had to.
Okay.
I think I said, hey, if you participate or answer this question, I'll shout you out in the podcast. Something like that. I don't know. Jose always comes late.
Why are you calling him out?
I am. I don't. Yeah. That's my shout out to he's like the ace of hearts in my class. Always late. And then the ace of spades. Always participates.
Yes.
You love to see it.
Yeah.
There's a shout out. They had to wait 30 seconds for it though. Like a minute.
Alright, so let's introduce our topic.
I know. This is a good topic. I think this is my favorite selection of stories. The first one, if we do, we'll do the first one. Is pretty easy. Pretty whatever. I mean, I think we both know the answer to it, but we'll do it anyways.
Alright.
But some of them are pretty good. We'll see. And Jordan was really excited.
Games? Okay.
Yeah.
I have to get
the topic is games.
Hold on, you got something on there, bro?
Yeah. It's called a unibrow.
No. It's called lint.
Flexing that look.
Okay. Games.
Games.
Your favorite thing?
You're my favorite thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So it's like you, and then right below their games.
Okay. Close second.
Yeah. Sports probably right underneath that too.
Third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Those are ready to do it.
Okay.
You want any updates? Just
Updates on what?
I don't know. Alright, whatever. We'll go ahead. You want to shout out to your students?
No, nobody's watching this.
Yeah.
None of my students are watching this.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have any views.
I'm not going to tell my middle schoolers to watch this.
I mean, I didn't tell my students to watch either, really.
Yeah.
They just asked me about a podcast, and I said, yeah. And
Follow
they're
us.
like...
Let's see it. You showed them little snippets of it.
Oh, I did actually, yeah.
Promoting yourself in class.
I did this on Spotify during the warm-up. I would play one of the stories. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, oh, you need an intro. But we're not there yet. Not that level.
We should record Sonny doing a little dance or something. He'll be our intro.
Do his little dancey dance. He's knocked out right there.
He's tired. As he always is.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. We'll do it anyways.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Am I the a-hole for choosing a football game over a wedding?
I think it depends on whose wedding it is.
Whose wedding would you miss
if it was
for a football
like
game?
your sister, your best friend, or like your brother.
That's surprising.
Yeah, like somebody that's close to you, right? If it's like your...
Well, I didn't think there'd be a scenario where you ever say a football game is more important than a wedding.
Well, it depends on the opportunity, right? Maybe you really want to go to this game. You
it's
planned
like the
it
Super
months
Bowl
in
or something?
advance. Yeah, and you bought tickets, right? Super expensive tickets. And then somebody comes out and says like, oh, I'm getting married that same day, you know? If it was like a pre-planned thing, then I would probably skip the wedding and say, hey, you know what? Sorry.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe it's not easy as I thought. Okay. Well, it is. It'll also be easy.
Okay.
All right, so my wife's friend has a wedding coming up this Sunday.
Football game.
It's a few hours away Wow, you said locked in that answer. Football game. It's a few hours away from where we live. The bride is a close friend of my wife's from college, but I've only met her a handful of times, and to be honest, she kind of sucks.
Oof.
When we RSVP'd a year ago, I wasn't exactly thrilled to be traveling 3 hours and spending hundreds of dollars for someone I don't even really like. The other thing is that when I RSVP'd a year ago, the NFL schedule wasn't out. I know this sounds silly, but for anyone who follows football, this is a special, special week in sports history because Tom Brady is returning to play the New England Patriots. So I think this was a game, it was like a week. When was this post? 10 days ago, so probably a week ago.
Right.
It's supposed to be like, I think he's like breaking a record for most passing yards, and it's supposed to happen during that game, and he used to play for the Patriots, so it's like a historic game, I guess.
Okay.
That's what this guy's saying. I didn't care about it, but for the Brits / non-sports people, I don't know why it's just Brits. Why does he point out the Brits here? He's really pointing a finger at England. Tom Brady was the quarterback for the New England Patriots for 20 seasons and won 6 championships with them. He won a championship last year, and why does he put quotes on the championships? He says, championship. Like it's not a real championship. It's a championship. Mm-hmm. Okay, anyways. Last year, in his first season with Tampa Bay, has yet to return to New England until this Sunday. I won't get further into the drama, GOAT versus rookie QB, the Brady-Belichick debate, but suffice to say, this game is monumental. It's going to be quite literally historical. A once-in-a-lifetime game for any football fan, and especially for a diehard Patriots fan like myself. I cannot miss it. To be honest, I totally forgot about the wedding day until a few weeks ago when I realized the date. I was devastated, but I didn't know how to approach the wife. I knew it looked bad, so last week I reached out to her gay best friend, Tito, and asked if he had any plans for this Sunday. He didn't, and was actually thrilled at the idea of accompanying my wife as a +1 because he loves dancing. So I floated this to her, and she flipped her stuff. She told me it was rude and disrespectful, and also downplayed the importance of the game, just like I knew she would. It's an important game. I told her Tito was happy to attend, but she just gawked at me, then started crying. Give me a gawk. What does a gawk look like?
You know what a gawk is.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's like that. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm probably giving you one of those ones.
Unfortunately. I know I look like the a-hole here, but am I? I'm not friends with the bride, my wife is, and watching Brady growing up has affected my life more than the bride ever has or ever will. I also get that bailing on a wedding costs the bridegroom money, so to prevent that, I went out of my way to find a replacement. Told my wife she could tell the bride I was sick and nobody's going to question that these days, but she's still livid. So, am I the a-hole, or am I falling victim to a belief system that simply views football as a stupid game and nothing more? And he's a victim. Like I said, this game is literally once in a lifetime, something I tell my kids about. The edit is, I'm not going to the game, I'm watching on TV.
Oh.
And for those suggesting I tape it, I could, but that's obviously not practical in the social media age. Also, I obviously care about my wife, just not the bride.
Okay, so that's where it's different, I guess. If it was like an in-person game, you got to see like this whole thing, right? You can, like they said, you can record this and show your kids, like, look at this. Look at what happened, you know, if he really cares about telling his kids about this. But in this case, it's his wife wanting him to go. So, I don't know, I would say football game if he was going in person. But since he's just going to watch it on the TV, sorry, buddy, you're going to the wedding.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
I think that's pretty fair. I mean, I think he's the a-hole.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, not even going to the game. He just wants to watch it live.
Yeah.
So he could watch it as soon as he goes home.
Right.
Heck, even bring it to the wedding. Just watch it on your phone.
Yeah, just turn off your social media pages or whatever. You don't even have to look. Wait until you get home if you're that excited. Yeah, that one's pretty easy.
Pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
You think it would be different if he had, like, bought tickets?
Yeah, I think so.
What if he had bought tickets after... Then
that would be...
Like, knowing when the date for the wedding was, but he forgot about the day of the wedding. Like, if he are like, does it matter which one he committed to first? Like, if he said he's already going to the wedding, and then he went and bought tickets, like, not really knowing that it was the same day, but he's like, oh, it's the best, like, the important game, I gotta go. But he had already committed to the wedding. Does he, like, try to sell tickets and go to the wedding? Or?
It's hard because if his memory is that bad, I feel like he'd probably check with his wife on things like, hey, I really want to do this. Like, we got anything going on? I know you do that. Like, you'll give me a date now, I'll tell you whether we have anything planned or not.
But I'm also not this guy. So.
Right. So I guess it depends on their communication.
That would suffer. I mean,
yeah. What was the vote?
Why does he really hate this? Well, yeah, they definitely said he's the a-hole. Like,
well, it's hard because you know, there are people that you know that have friends and you're not, like, quite fond of them. So you probably wouldn't go out of your way to, like, go visit those people or interact with those people.
Yeah, but they're not, like, people that he knows. They're people that are important to you.
Right.
So that's the difference. If it was someone that you didn't know and I didn't like, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going. Like,
right, yeah.
I don't know that person. Or I don't like that person. But someone that I don't really know or like, but you know, they're a close friend of you. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, go by yourself.
Yeah.
Go bring Tito.
You try to find somebody, but yeah.
The top comment says, you're the a-hole. It doesn't matter how much you like this friend of your wife's or how well you know her. This is part of being married. You go to events because you are a good partner, not necessarily because you really want to go yourself. I'm a huge football fan too, and while this game is historical, it is still just a week 4 regular season game. If you want to see it, then record it and watch it later. There's nothing about it that will be spoiled by not being able to watch it live. Week 4, not week 3. Well, yeah, because he edited it. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like I said, right? Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Sounds like he just really doesn't want to go to this wedding and he's trying to get out of it.
Yeah. But like I said, if he had bought, like, if he bought in-person tickets and this was like a game of a lifetime or whatever, then I'd see it. But yeah, if he's just gonna watch it at TV, it just sounds like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
All right.
So easy. We've got a consensus on that one. All right, that might be the only one. We'll see.
Let's see.
All right.
Let's see. You said.
Next one. Am I the a-hole for not? Oh, sorry. Am I the a-hole for taking over my husband's gaming room after he kept interrupting me while studying? It's also an easy one, actually, but that was like just one of those like drama ones and just like.
Oh, I think I've heard of this one before.
Okay, so it's my female 23, husband male 27, and I've been married for 6 months. We've moved into a smallish apartment that he inherited from his father, and he turned one room into his personal gaming room, where he spoils himself by playing video games for hours on end without interruption. He even has a lock for it. Damn.
Why would you want to lock?
I'm gonna lock you out. I'm going full gamer mode. Don't distract me.
Okay, that's already a red flag to me. If he has to lock his gaming room.
It's too late. They're married 6 months.
Red flag. She should have seen that. I mean, they just moved in together 6 months ago, right? So
they got married 6 months ago.
Oh, how long have they been living together?
I don't know.
Okay.
They said we've moved into one, so probably not very long, maybe.
Red flag.
I'm in the middle of studying for my final exams for this semester. Concentration can be hard with him continuously distracting me by walking into the bedroom, either laughing at a video he's watching or turning on the hairdryer or the computer. Why is he turning on the hairdryer? Okay, he's got the long walks.
Too busy gaming, he's just letting it grow out.
Yeah. Gamer hair. Couldn't be me. I tried studying in the living room, but TV is turned on and phone, and he's talking on it, as well as him starting conversations with me while I'm studying. He even had friends over to party while I was studying. I had to go outside for some peace. I had enough. I told him to stop interrupting my studying by walking into the bedroom at random times and laughing and doing distracting stuff. I told him if he interrupts me one more time, then I'll move my studying books/tools into his gaming room. He said he'd stop, but yesterday at 5 p.m. when I was studying in the bedroom, he walked in making loud sounds and started the TV, saying the TV in the living room wasn't working. He turned the volume up. That's when I lost on him. Had a huge argument about how he was disrespecting the time and effort I spent to study, and gathered my books and tools and went straight to his gaming room to study there. He threw a fit saying his gaming room is forbidden personal space that shouldn't be accessible to anyone else but him, and asked me to get out. I refused and locked the door, causing him to get upset, talking about how I was disrespecting / invading his space. It didn't end well after I told him I'll use it to study since he refused to stop interrupting/distracting me. He kept getting upset saying I took over his room with no permission and insisted I move out, but I refused until he started showing some consideration.
Yeah. She's not the emo. I don't think so.
That's his gaming room. Okay?
No. Okay, so that was a red flag right off the bat where she said he had a lock on it. If that was the case, then why not lock the room, right? Do it to him. He's locking one of the rooms. You only have access to your room and the living room. Lock your room. If he's gonna be like that, he's gonna turn on the TV. He's gonna be talking or laughing or partying. That's the part that sucks. It's like he knows she's studying.
Party.
She needs some quiet time to actually focus on whatever exam she's studying for.
I'm curious, like what she's studying for.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's always studying.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like they say in marriage, you have to do like 50-50, right? Or compromise or something. But if it's just he's constantly doing those things when she needs that time, I don't think she's the a-hole.
What's weird to me is like after all, like he loves this gaming room so much and he seems to never be in it. He's like always doing something somewhere else, which is like trying to study and like bothering her. It's like, dang bro, what you saying? Go to your game room.
Yeah.
If it's so cool and so private and personal, like go to your game room and play some games. Like, I don't know. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's the a-hole, but it sounds like they have more problems than just this studying thing. Yeah. Marriage. The fact that like he has a room and he got so upset with her saying that was his room, like you're not allowed to come in here and study, that's a big red flag.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like something that happens. People like, I mean even like, I don't know if you're like dad or someone was like, oh, like that's your space. The garage? I don't know. The game room, I think. The game room or like the garage. Like, that's your space, you know.
That was my niece. Emily had said it. Had said something like,
I think a lot of people have. I think someone said like the garage. Like the garage is yours. You know what I mean?
Oh, to make like a man cave.
Or something. I don't know.
Oh, because I think it had said something about you bringing something in.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that's his space. And I'm like, well... I would see if you had like, you know, kind of like the way my dad does. He has his tools, he has his stuff. Kind of like the way your dad's garage is more or less like, you know, he has a lot of his stuff in there. And that's how my dad's like, well, he doesn't have a garage, but like his outside stuff, like that's his workspace.
It can be our tools.
You know? But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like it shouldn't be, like this isn't just, the inside of the house isn't just my house, you know? I don't have a room that's like designated to me.
So it's okay when it's the garage, but anywhere else?
No, I don't know why they say the garage.
I don't know either.
It's probably like that's
just a thing.
Stereotypical thing.
Probably just like a thing that they're used to.
Yeah.
Like the garage. Dad was always in the garage, maybe. Or,
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's that idea, but yeah. I think I was saying something though about the game room. Oh, it being yellow, maybe somebody had said something about yellow. I'm like, oh, I don't know about the whole game room being yellow. And I think Emily said, she goes, yeah, but it's Don's space. Like, let him. And I'm like, oh.
That's right. Let's go, Emily.
Ended up being blue, but.
She's got my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind it being yellow, but I think it looks better being blue, given everything else white and blue over there.
Right, yeah. You have our two.
It would, like, not really fit. I would be down to put some yellow details in there.
If you're painting.
Like what we did right here on this wall. I was telling my students about this the other day.
Our accent wall.
Yeah, because like they were struggling to measure with like the rulers and stuff. I was like, gotta learn how to do this because cool designs like me.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised how good that came out.
That looks really good.
I thought for sure like it would end up being like uneven or something, and it actually looks.
Yeah, all your measurements came out really nice. Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm a math teacher or something. It's crazy. Oof. Check your math.
It's like you have a degree.
Got a degree. I got 2 degrees. Only one in math though.
Oh yeah. But yes, I don't know. That to me that just seems like a red flag. It doesn't seem like they're communicating properly.
Yeah. I would say that's pretty good. That was not the easy one. Now the rest of them, I swear, the rest of them are good. In fact, I'll probably like if we do YouTube on the description, be like, go to this time if you want the good videos.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because the first, I mean, those are two. They're interesting situations, but like, yeah, they're not very like. It's very clear, you know, if you're a reasonable person, who's in the wrong here. All right, we'll take a quick break here. So let me just pause. All right, we're back. Well, I mean, you already noticed that we're gone, but
yeah,
you had to go take some insulin as one does.
When you're diabetic.
Yeah, you're gonna expose me like that, but no, I'm just kidding.
All right, next one. Am I the a-hole for winning a football game against my girlfriend and her friends?
What do you think?
I'm gonna say no because it's a game. I guess it depends on if you're winning something, right? But in the end, it's his girlfriend, so they probably both win. In this case, if he wins.
Yeah.
But
is there a situation where like he's maybe an a-hole for winning against his girlfriend and her friends?
If he was playing like rough, like if they were playing and like he hit everybody,
did whatever it took to win.
Like, yeah, did everything, then he would probably be the a-hole in that situation. But yeah, what do you think?
Probably not, but yeah, like there could be some kind of scenario where it'd be like maybe yeah. Sometimes I mean you tell it to me all the time. You're like, oh, go easy on them, don't, like to the kids and stuff. You gotta let them.
No, I always tell him because he's every game that we've played together, he's always won. So I've never won a game, I think.
You've won a game.
Scrabble, but it took me like 50 tries. Almost 100 tries. And I almost won that first time, and he did like a 7-letter word, and
you beat me at the arcade.
because I was so close. What arcade?
Not actually.
No.
You scored a goal on me.
I'm used to losing when I go against him. So now I'm okay with it because I know he's gonna win. So sometimes I already give up because I already know he's gonna win.
That's sad. How do you already give up?
It's not fun anymore if you can't win.
That's so. Hey, you need to teach the kids that it's okay to lose and you can still have fun.
But my nieces and nephews play with him. Like they'll play basketball or they'll play like games and stuff with him. Ping pong. But I keep telling him, I'm like, they're not gonna want to play with you anymore if you always win.
They keep coming back for more.
They're gonna try to win, yeah.
Exactly. So.
But yeah, I don't know. They always know, right? At the end of the game, they go, oh, Don always wins. They always make those comments.
Until I don't. One day they may.
Oh yeah.
Surpass
When's that day gonna happen?
I don't know. I'm still waiting. Can't wait.
Okay. Alright, let's get into the story. Ready? Recently, my girlfriend invited me to a soccer, to play with her friends. Okay.
So football, like soccer, football.
A football game. A soccer game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll use soccer now instead of football. Now, my girlfriend and her friends have all played soccer their whole life, and all of them are in a semi-pro team or a college team. They have this weekly pickup game that they have been doing for a while they invite their boyfriends and some other guy friends to play each other. Apparently, they always go guys versus girls in the games, and my girlfriend told me that the girls would always win. I was happy to go because I haven't really played soccer in a long time, and missed it since coming to the U.S. I used to play in an academy club in Europe and was actually pretty good, but left the club and focused more on my studies. Day of the pickup game, I go and meet all her friends. I got along great with everybody, especially the guys who all seemed like good dudes. I asked about why they always lost in a joking manner, and they replied that most of them started playing soccer just recently. But they love to play even if they lost and were just there to have fun. When the match started, I noticed I'm probably the best player on the pitch. All my old instincts come back, and it's just like old times for me. I scored 2 goals fairly easily and decided to tone it down a bit and mostly give assists to the other guys instead and organize the defense. I'm having a great time and the guys are having fun too, but the girls were understandably frustrated. At the end of the match, they started getting real physical and put in harder tackles. We won the match 7-1. On the way home, however, my girlfriend is not very talkative and said she didn't know I was that good. I said I didn't know I could still play either. It was the first time I played in almost 2 years. After I had showered, my girlfriend came back more irritated. She said everyone is blaming her for bringing me and making the girls lose. She said I was showboating and just looking down on the girls for being better than them, and that all the girls thought I was really arrogant on the pitch. She says I came in and destroyed the dynamic they had there. I became upset since I had a great time and thought it was a good game. I said it was unfair from the beginning to have a bunch of college players play against mostly beginners. But she said that it's more unfair for me to come in and just win everything for the guys. Now she is saying she won't invite me anymore because the other girls don't want me there and it would be too uneven. I suggested mixing teams, but she said that they always play guys versus girls. So apparently I was in the wrong for playing soccer to the best of my abilities. Too long, didn't read. Girlfriend and her friends lost a football match to me and some other guy friends. Now they think I was downplaying my skills and showboating on purpose. Am I the a-hole for this? No.
No. Yeah. This is another easy one.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I think that they're going to get home.
Yeah, the next ones are.
Right.
Maybe. But this one I thought was kind of relatable.
No, yeah, this one's easy. No, I mean, it's a game. They're not winning anything. It's true, right? Why are you going to bring in some beginners and play against almost pro athletes? It's unfair to begin with.
Who knows?
I think it probably hurt their egos, right? They're like pro players and this one guy who hasn't played in years.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, not playing for 2 years is not like, you don't lose everything from that. Like,
no, right?
You might lose condition and, like, you might be out of shape, but, like, you can still play soccer, like.
Right.
So, I don't know about that comment. Be like, I didn't know I could play. Of course you can still. You play academy soccer in Europe. You're probably beast.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you.
And how does his girlfriend not know that he played academy soccer? I don't know how long they've been dating, but she's like, I didn't know you were that good. He's like, yeah.
Maybe he just said like, oh, I played soccer back in Europe too, but didn't like say because you could play soccer anywhere, maybe not be that great. Because if the girls are on like a semi-pro college team, they have to be pretty decent, depending on the college, I guess. But yeah.
Not the a-hole on this one.
I agree. As the main reason I think so is because like he didn't even like destroy them like he probably could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
so he says.
Oh, I took it a little easy after.
Yeah, he said I scored a couple goals and then I started just passing the ball to the other guys.
Mm-hmm. Can you see?
Like. No, he's too low.
Right below, you can see his little scarf just a little bit right here. Okay. Somebody said, LOL, hilarious. So the girls invite the boys so that they can showboat and always win. Now girls get annoyed because someone better than them turned up and gave them a proper game and beat them. Not to mention that you toned it down when you realized you were much better. As a girl who has played sport to a competitive level, from what you described, they have a strange way of thinking about things. Most of the girls I played football with would have been fine with playing the match you described and losing to a more challenging team. Definitely not the a-hole. Yeah.
That seems like the normal response, right? Like, it'd be weird to be so mad.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he was like literally breaking their ankles and like.
Yeah.
That could be pretty.
I think it would just hurt like their ego. They're so used to winning, and this random guy joins their game again, and.
You know what doesn't make any sense to me though? It's like, why didn't they mix the teams to begin with? Like, how is that even fun? Because that's not even fun.
Yeah. Well,
to just have a completely uneven team where you just like dominate the guys and like every single. I mean, even on the guy side, I'm surprised they're like chill with it, but it's like just mix the teams. Like that's gonna be more fun,
right?
In my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I
think they wanted to win. They're a team. They wanted to win together.
Yes. Maybe they're working on their dynamic, their synergy together.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Okay. Maybe this is where it starts getting good. I don't remember anymore.
Okay. Let's see.
Ooh, yeah. This one was a good one. It's kind of tough.
Okay.
Am I the a-hole for not leaving some of my gaming consoles behind when I moved out? Well, minimum information there. What do you think?
Not if he bought them.
I think he did buy them.
If he bought them, then I would say no, they're his. He's moving out. He needs to take his things.
Okay.
So we'll see what.
Yeah, we'll see if you do this one. They say, I, 18 male, moved out of my parents' house 6 weeks ago. We had a bad relationship for the last 3 years, and I couldn't handle living there. So I decided to stay with my best friend's parents. My relationship with my parents started to suffer when I was 12, and they became foster parents. Life changed pretty hard. They started taking in kids with all kinds of complex needs, and it led them to take a sibling set when I was 13, and give up my bedroom and move into my dad's old office, which was a box. I don't really know what that means. Maybe just small.
Just small.
So the boys and girls could have rooms big enough to share. We then moved to a bigger house so they could foster more kids, but I still ended up in the box room. Then we fought about me having a job and not treating my step-siblings now that I had money of my own. From there, we pretty much fought about everything. They told me I was selfish and ungrateful, and I had so much. The least I could do was try to be a good big brother and embrace the fact that they wanted to help kids. I just resented ending up in a box room and being expected to spend money on these kids. It felt like being shoved into a tiny room. Should have been enough sacrifice, but no. What really pissed them off was how little I want to take part in the day-to-day stuff like therapies, doctor appointments, taking them to and from school, etc. Once my parents moved into the bigger house, money was super tight. They're still struggling with that now. When I moved out, I took my video game consoles, ones I paid for. There's my PS1, PS2, PS5, Switch, and GameCube. My parents were pissed. They asked me to leave some stuff there for the foster kids. I said no, that I bought them and I wanted to keep them. They called me selfish again and said the kids deserve more of those happy things with the hard lives they've had. I told them they should buy them for them then, but I'm keeping my property. Mm-hmm. They called me an a-hole and told me they were ashamed of my attitude. Am I the a-hole?
No. And I feel bad for this guy because it seems like his parents neglected him. They're like, okay, like we have a son, we want to take in more kids that need help, but in turn, they turned him into like a kid that needed help. You know, he didn't have his parents really, their attention. They put him they took his room and put him somewhere else. Yeah, no, I definitely say he's not the a-hole. He bought all those things. They were basically making him their third foster parent, right? You got a job, you should help pay for these kids that you didn't agree to take in.
Yeah, what do you think about it? No kid agrees to take in the real siblings, so does that still apply? Like if you have a 17-year-old kid and he just has a 12-year-old brother or sister, like you shouldn't expect them to take them to school or...
That's different because when you have siblings, like I'm sure your parents didn't have your brother like, okay, Johnny, if you have a job, like now you have to pay for Don's games that you guys are playing together or anything like that. It's not the same, right? You have siblings that obviously you don't ask for, but at the same time you don't have your parents like shoving you somewhere else or having the oldest sibling pay for things for their sibling.
Well, they will shove you somewhere else depending on the house, right? Like, oh, like now that you have more kids, like you need to move to another room. I feel like that happens. It didn't happen to me, but...
Yeah, it does.
So
or you'll have
different?
To share. Or, I would say it's different because it's different in what they're asking of him, right? Yes, they had him move to a room, but he felt like it was a box. It was a box. Meaning it was so little, like he could barely do anything in there. Like, I know when growing up, my parents, in the trailer that we lived in, we had one room where the girls shared, and my brother was sleeping on the couch for the longest time. So what did my dad do? He made the living room smaller, and he added that extra room so my brother could have his own privacy, right? Still, I mean, the girls were sharing the room because we were all girls, and, you know, it wasn't inconvenient for any of us. But for my brother to be sleeping on the couch, they didn't want him to sleep on the couch. They wanted him to have his own space, and they made a room. So I feel like as a parent, yeah, you have kids, but you're not asking them to give up anything, right? You shouldn't be asking them to give up anything.
Right.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have that expectation like, oh, he's working, he's getting money for himself. Now he has to pay for all these kids that he didn't sign up to, like... He didn't sign up for.
Right. Do you think it's like an a-hole move to be like, hey, can you go buy your brother and sister some ice cream? And you're like, no, like, this is my money. I'm looking to buy them ice cream. Is that an a-hole move or no?
No, because it's like, oh, do you think if your parents are asking you like, hey, can you go get them ice cream, and you just say no, then I'm sure your parents would be like, okay, here then. Like if you don't want to spend your money here, they're asking you to go get the ice cream. They shouldn't expect you. So then they shouldn't be asking you to go get ice cream for them. If you need money for other things, then obviously you're not going to be spending on ice cream.
Well, maybe so they want to they want to give them happy things. It was weird. It's like it feels like I don't know what the prerequisites for having foster kids are, but it's like I feel like one of them would be like you have enough money to support them.
Right. I thought maybe it's like adoption or something. I thought there was like a rule where they needed to have their own bedroom. I thought that was a thing, but I don't know. I'm not like familiar with all those regulations.
Maybe that's an adoption, yeah. Because foster, and there was like we were like listening to something last night that was talking about foster parenting.
You were. I fell asleep on the ride home.
But they're like talking about like with foster parenting, you could like take them in for like a couple months and then they go somewhere else. I didn't know that. It was interesting. Yeah. At least this lady was talking about how she was like single and she like really wanted to have kids, and then she's like, you know what, like I'm gonna just foster parent in the middle of like the pandemic. And everyone's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But she like fostered like this 4-year-old and like 2-year-old, or something happened to their family, and then she like they started to trust her, and you know she got close to them for a few months, and then the caseworker came back and said, oh, we found a relative that could take them.
Yeah.
So then they left, and then she never saw them again, and she's not allowed to contact them or anything. So
yeah,
it's like then you get like really close to these young kids, and then they got to go.
Well, that's the hard part, right? Like if it's like a revolving door.
Yeah.
You know, they come in, they go out, and they go somewhere else. I'm sure that like long term probably affects the kids negatively.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it probably depends on how their other relative is.
Yeah.
Because we had this really had a really nice kind of like a series of unfortunate events, right?
I've never seen that one.
What? Oh my! Now we gotta see that one now.
Yes.
Add to the list. But yeah, basically, like all the relatives are really cool, but they keep like whatever getting passed along to like someone they don't like, or someone they don't like tries to foster them or something. I don't know.
Right.
So it's kind of like if we had that situation, probably suck. But
yeah. So this one, I feel like not the a-hole. I feel bad for the guy because his parents put him in that situation, and in turn, they're the ones that messed up that relationship between them and their own son. Yeah, because I get it, right? They're trying to be nice, they're trying to help kids in need, but in turn, they just neglected their own kid, I feel.
So this one I'm kind of torn on because it's like he has like 5 different consoles, and I know some people probably play everything on all their consoles, but like for me, I play what was most recent usually. Like if I have a Switch and a GameCube, I'm probably just gonna play on the Switch. Like, why not just leave a single console for the kids to play on? Because it feels like he's taking it out on the kids that he like. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. I wouldn't say he's like really an a-hole, but he's definitely not being like sympathetic or like thoughtful for the kids themselves. He's like, oh, they don't have stuff? Well, like, you should have thought about that. Like, go buy them stuff, but you don't have money to buy them stuff, so the kids don't get anything nice.
It might be some resentment, right? They brought in these kids that his parents are paying more attention to, trying to spend more money on, and in turn he has to earn everything, right? Work for everything, and yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure, but, like, is that fair that he resents the kid? I mean, it's like, I get his kid. Like, I'd probably be the same way. I'd probably be resentful, too.
From, like, 13 to 18, he's seen these kids, like, get everything that he wanted, you know? Like, the things that he needed from his parents, like attention and, you know, obviously these parents are caring for these foster kids because they want him to, like, pay for things or give them a happy life or whatever it is that they're telling him. But, yeah. I mean, it's not fair. But like you just said, he is a kid. Like, he's hurt by what his parents have put him through. I'm not saying it's like super negative or whatever, but it's still like, you know, he probably resents the kids because they're like taking up things that he wanted from his parents, and they didn't give
So
him.
if they reworded this as like, am I the a-hole for resenting foster kids because my parents took them in and gave them all this stuff? I feel like the answer would be like, maybe. I feel like more, if he worded it like that, more people would be like, like maybe a little bit, or like just everyone sucks here.
But it's hard because, like you said, he's a kid. He's not going to say something like that. Like, I resent these kids. Like, you're reading between the lines. He didn't specifically say that.
No one's gonna say that. But like, he's not. Like, again, the games he's leaving behind are not for the parents.
Right.
They are for the kids.
Yeah.
So like, and I get if it was one system, it's like between like, hey, either I get this system or you get this system.
Yeah.
I'd probably take it too. Be like, well, this is mine. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I want to play stuff too. But I got like 5 consoles and like.
But it also depends, right? Like, these, I'm assuming, I know, like, the PlayStation and the Switch and all these other things are expensive. Like, they're not cheap. What does he have, PlayStation 4?
He's a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 5, Switch, and a GameCube.
And a GameCube, yeah, all of those are...
Well, I mean, the PS5 and the Switch
expensive.
are the newest. Mostly, like, PS5 for sure not. You're not gonna leave your PS5 behind.
No.
Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, like...
PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2.
Like, those are probably only a little expensive only because, like, you know, Jordan is, like, Nintendo 64 stuff, like, just retro, like, collectible almost at this point.
So there you go. Maybe that's his idea.
But, like,
Maybe
a GameCube... You could leave a GameCube. Like, you have a Switch, a GameCube, unless there's, like, games you just absolutely love on the GameCube.
Right, and we don't know that.
We don't know that, but I mean, like, there's 5 consoles there. I feel like if he, you know,
but then also
could leave a single one, that'd
like,
be a nice...
game-wise, right? Say those kids, he left a console. Game-wise, if they wanted to buy newer games, it's still going to be more expensive, and they're not going to have those things. Yeah, he'd probably get more. What if they didn't want to play, right? And then it also depends on like their situation. Like if he sees the kids playing on his games and they're not like they're being rough with it, or they've dropped it, or they've spilled something close to it, like he's obviously not going to want to leave it because he knows it's not going to last long, depending on how old these kids are that are playing it. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I feel like he could have left something. And it's like, I know it's maybe not right or fair to like ask a kid to be generous or, you know, but it feels like to an extent the parents are like trying to like, are hoping that he teach him like a value of like you should give to people in need and stuff like that, you know.
He's like, I gave him my room.
Yeah, he's like, I gave enough.
But
he didn't get it. It got taken from him.
Right.
So it's like.
So in terms, it doesn't feel like they're teaching him that lesson because they're making him give things
but I'm
up.
just saying it's probably what the parents are thinking is like, oh, like we want him to like, you know, give to people who in need and, you know, stuff like that. And obviously he doesn't. They didn't do it in a way that he wants to learn that lesson, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still like, I think I'm sticking to my guy. I feel like he should have left maybe one there, just like set up some. I mean, I don't know. Because, like, there's 5 consoles. Like, I barely even play the one I got. I mean, I know he's going to be probably working a lot more when he moves out. I don't know how much time he's going to play games.
Right.
But...
I don't know. They could also have memories with them. Like, the older ones. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I think my brother has, like, an old gaming system, too.
Your brother doesn't play games, remember?
Oh, that's right. No. He did. He bought one, like, from a swap meet or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's been, like, he worked hard for the things that he bought, things that he was able to buy. And, I mean, if he bought them, you can't ask for him to leave them there. Like, if he wanted to leave them there, he would have left one.
But he could say no. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's hard because his parents were, like, guilting him. Like, you're an a-hole, you didn't leave a game system. And
well, yeah, they guilted him after he said no. So they didn't really guilt him into saying yes. They just...
But they made him feel bad for saying no. That's his choice.
No, yeah.
That was his choice. Like, they made him work for the things that he wanted. He worked for the things that he wanted, and all of a sudden you want him to leave it there. It's like, no.
I mean, it's just like they already had a bad relationship, so.
Yeah.
I think it's like no matter what, like.
Yeah. I don't think that he's the a-hole in this situation. I mean, yeah, there are 5 consoles, but at the end of the day, he worked hard for the money that he got in order to buy those consoles. So I wouldn't leave them.
I will say it's surprising though, like, depending on when he got some of these things, but like, assuming this is like a current post, so this is 75 days ago that it got posted, but like a PS1 is like,
I don't know anything.
It's got to be like almost 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So PS1 was out before this guy was born. How did he buy a PS1 with his own money unless he bought it like down the line, like if he went and bought a retro run like Jordan, right? So, but
right.
Like maybe he would do.
And it could be because, I mean, the games now are expensive, right? Maybe he just earned all the money.
I feel like more like it was probably something he got for his birthday or something his parents bought for him. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he went out of his way to buy a PS1 like 15 years after its release. Mm. But he could have, because even people now that like, you know, like Jordan's buying it in Nintendo 64, he's had these memories of playing the games and probably in like the, you know what I mean? The nostalgia of it. Like this guy has no idea what games are on the PS1 probably, like, so why would he just go out of his way to buy a PS1 when he has a job 15 years later? Right. So I don't know if that makes a difference, that he probably didn't buy these things. They were probably bought for him and like, maybe, you know what I mean, given to him, and he's like, no, this was like my birthday gift, like it's mine or whatever. Or he like, you know, you bought this for me to play when I was younger, so it's mine now. But he does say that he bought them. Right. I just have some doubt that he went through and bought these things, you know, working when he was 17 years old for a year. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to buy, because then there's game. Like that's a lot of, like, he'd be rolling the dough if he bought all that stuff from working for a year. Yeah. 2 years. So I don't know. This one was a tough one for me, because it's like, I see it. I mean, I'd probably want to take all my stuff with me too, but if I would be able to, if I didn't have a bad relationship with the kids, and I just, like, the kids weren't like a-holes, and like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like if I didn't hate them, then I probably would leave them something, because I'd be like, you know, it's not your fault. Right. My parents suck. But here you go. Yeah. I know. But I think in this case it's more like emotions are kind of mixed in there too. Even though he probably doesn't hate the kids, he probably does feel a certain way about them. Probably. Like still being there with his parents and all that stuff. I just mean the foster kids though, and like I wonder how they see him, and they're like, dang, he doesn't want to like he doesn't do anything with us. He doesn't want to hang out with us. Mm-hmm. Like they're probably like, dang, the foster kids are probably like, this guy like hates us, like he sucks. Yeah. Like what do we do to him? Like they don't realize. Right. They didn't do anything to him. Yeah. It was just the parents putting, like, I don't know. I feel like weird. Yeah, but also we don't really know their relationship with them, right? Yeah, no clue. Yeah, they could be they could be on the best of terms. It's just. Although he does say they have complex issues and needs, so like therapy. Yeah, see, that's like another thing, right? If he's working and then the parents are trying to add like him dropping the kids off at therapy and all this stuff, it probably gets into his schedule too, because he's trying to earn his own money to move out. So yeah, I don't know. I think in this situation, no. But what was the top comment on that? Pretty much, yeah, not the a-hole. Right. Yeah, it was voted not the a-hole for that one. We can let's see, what was it? They want you to parent your kids. It's not even theirs, just foster. It's great that they're helping those kids, but they sacrifice their own child to help others. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't take on more than they can financially handle, which is kind of what I think too. It's like weird that they're struggling with money. Right. I mean, I don't know. It's like you kind of need money to support kids, so it's like kids are expensive. You didn't plan it out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. How many more do we have? I think there's like 4 more, potentially. I know these are the better ones too. So okay. Okay. Am I the a-hole for wanting to name my son after a video game character? Keep reading. Okay. My wife, 26 female, and I, 27 male, are both big gamers. We actually met through playing a game together online, and it's important to us. We're expecting a baby boy in October, and we couldn't be happier. This will be the first child for all of us, and the first grandchild on both sides of our family. So they're pretty excited to meet him too. Here's where the problem comes in. My wife and I were both greatly moved by the story of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. We consider him one of the best fictional characters of all time. That's my spot.
I moved you. Of all time.
Yeah. Of all time. I've been playing video games for a long time, and the story is the only one to ever make me cry. It was my wife who suggested that we use Arthur Morgan as the first and middle names for our son. Not only would we be paying tribute to our favorite character, there's nothing wrong or weird about the names. Other than Arthur's a little old-fashioned now. But it isn't as if we're naming him Sonic the Hedgehog or Donkey. My mother had a brother that died when I was about a year old, so I don't have any memories of him. She has been pressuring us to name our son after him. There's nothing wrong with his name either. It's pretty common. Something like Robert John. I think he doesn't even know his name. Something like Robert John. It's just not what we wish to name our Sprout.
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 That's Sprout. A good little name for a kid.
My older brother left slip to my mother that my name we chose was from a video game character, and she completely flipped out. She actually drove 30 minutes to our house so she could bang on our door and berate us in person for honoring someone who doesn't actually exist over her flesh and blood sibling. I understand that she still misses my uncle, but while this may be her grandchild, he is still first and foremost our son, and we already think of him as Arthur. That's going to be his name no matter how she feels about it. When we tried gently and then firmly to advise her that we respected her position, that we weren't going to budge on ours, she walked out and told us she would have nothing to do with our son and would never acknowledge him as family.
Oh my god.
Am I the a-hole for not making my mother happy and just giving her a freebie on this? I've actually always had a really good relationship with her, and it would hurt badly not to have her in my life or my son's life. My wife says that as parents, we're going to have to learn to advocate for ourselves because people are always going to tell us that we've done something wrong and disagreeing with our parenting decisions.
Woo. No, not the a-hole. No, definitely not. That one seems like the mom is still in like that grief stage of grieving, but
it was 26 years
sad.
ago.
Yeah, it's sad that she's trying to push this on her son, because in actuality, like, what if the girl's mom was like, well, I lost, you should name him after your grandpa. Then, like, obviously there's going to be that argument,
Right.
So you have to be fair if you're because your parents kind of did that, right? Your brother was named after your dad's side and you were named after your mom's side, so you were able to take those names from either side if there was something like that pre-agreed, but
my brother's middle name is actually from my mom's side too, so I think his name already was like a combination.
Mm-hmm.
Ray was my great grandpa on my mom's side.
Yeah. But no, it's so sad that the mom feels like this strongly about it. She's like, if you name him Arthur.
That's crazy. I mean,
nothing. He's cut off. He's not part of my family.
I kind of get it. Like, I don't get it. I just understand her perspective a little bit.
Right.
Where she's like, dang, how are you going to name your son if someone doesn't even exist? Like, not even a real person.
Right.
When you have, like, your belated uncle
that
you could name him after.
Yeah, but it's
like,
hard
I get her, like, her idea. Especially she doesn't, like video games and doesn't understand that stuff. She's like, how are you gonna name after stuff? You know what I mean? They probably have that. It's like, it's not even real. Like, it's
Yeah.
I can see like an old person saying that. I believe it. Like, but at the same time, I think it's unfair to expect him to name him after someone that he doesn't even know. He knows Arthur Morgan more than he knows Robert John or whatever his uncle's name was. Like, it's sad, but that's the fact. He never really met him. Has zero memories of him.
That's hard because, like, this is your kid. It's not your parents' kid. It's not your wife's parents' kid. It's your kid. Like, you two are in agreement that you both like this name. Your wife brought it up. You liked it, So you two loved and fell in love with that name. You started picturing your kid named as Arthur. And then for somebody, regardless of who they are, to come in and be like, that's a horrible name. Like, you're going to name them this instead. That's where it's like unfair,
What if they named him like? What did my friend?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
My friend named their kid Kilo Elric. Rodriguez or something.
Right, but that's because.
Is that gonna be different?
No, because him and his wife, you had mentioned, right? Him and his
I think they're
wife
both into
had
it. Yeah.
liked the name. They liked the anime, right? So that was what they were in agreement with. But that's a thing. Like, I think my brother too, with Holly's name, he didn't like. I think they had agreed on it like early on, and he hadn't like said her name until later on in the pregnancy, because he's like, I just don't want people to like talk about the name or say like, oh, you know, whatever, you know. He goes, I just wanted it to be, you know, that's our name, like, you know, you can't say anything because she already has that name.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so they make it a surprise.
Yeah. But he ended up telling us, and we're like, oh, that's a pretty name, you know. And then HH, Holly Hernandez, so that fit. But yeah, like, people always have an opinion, you know, the way you parent, or yeah.
Yeah,
so in this
like,
case,
note at the end, just a little teachable moment.
Right.
Apparently at the end they had a little piece.
Yeah. So yeah, like the wife said, you know, they're gonna have to kind of get used to. People are always gonna give advice. I think there are like commercials about that, like, you might already know this, or you know, you could do this instead. But yeah, I don't think he's the a-hole. As long as him and his wife love it, they're having their first kid, it should be surrounded by happiness, not by his mom making a big deal about the name, you know.
So what I hear you saying is we can name our kid after a video game character.
No.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Another episode.
Well, I keep bringing up names, and you say, "Oh, but it reminds me of this character."
Well, they remind me too, because yeah, you choose like Callista, and like these are.
We're looking at C names. You know how hard it is to look at C names.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Not easy.
Time, we got time.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Speed Brown.
I know.
Oh, this one. Shout out to my brother. Am I the a-hole for not sharing the income from a board game that I created, even though he had a huge part in its development because he demanded payment up front?
Wait, read that one more time.
So basically, it's like she or he or whoever made this board game, and they like paid their brother up front to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
and then the board game took off and started making money, and
He wanted more.
he wanted more.
Oh.
Are they the a-hole for not sharing that money with them?
It's their brother?
Yeah. This is a good story.
That one's hard.
I know. I'm gonna link this to my brother and send this to him and see what he thinks.
See, that's why I told you, like, it's not a good idea to like get into business with relatives.
What? This is a pretty good story.
Yeah.
This is one of the favorite ones I found.
Right. That's hard when you start mixing like your family life and your like business life. They say don't mix.
Yeah, but I don't work with my brother.
Well, yeah, but like that's why a lot of situations end up like this.
A lot
of situations end up.
You got the statistics to back that up?
A lot.
Evidence and facts. Your research.
No, yeah.
What do you think? What's your gut reaction?
Sharing income from...
Gut reaction. Don't think too hard about it.
Gut reaction is no, because he paid him the money that he wanted before they even launched it. I mean, if they had something in writing, he's like, you know what, brother, if this takes off, like, I'll give you money. But if
it was in writing, he'd probably give him the money.
right, no, but if they, like, had that agreement, though, like, regardless, if they had talked about it, like, hey, if this takes off, then I will, you know, we'll go 50-50 or whatever, you know? But since his brother's like, you better pay me up front for my time, and then whatever happens to this board game happens to this board game, then I would say no.
So I feel like I know where we're going to end up then, if you're already saying that, but let's see where this goes. So I love board games, and a hobby of mine is creating my own games. I play my games with family and friends. I'm very creative in terms of inventing games, but I'm not visually creative. The reason why I like to sound so much like my brother.
All right.
I think he might be, like, my brother could draw more than I ever could, so not to say he's not visually creative, but he, like, makes his own board games and stuff. Mm-hmm. I can't draw, paint, etc. My brother, on the other hand, is an amazing visual artist, both drawing by hand and digitally. I think my brother wishes I was this way, because he's, like, trying to get people to do art for his stuff. And,
right.
Like, I just not even anywhere near capable of doing anything like that for him.
Yeah.
When I first started making games, I had this fantasy that I was going to get rich. My brother was on board and did all the visual art, The assumption was split any earnings 50-50. We had some fun, but at the end of the day, all of our games failed to find a publisher or sell. My brother got sick of all the work with no reward and stopped wanting to work on the games. I respected that. But I really thought one day I could make a successful game. I tried hiring a graphic designer for $60 an hour, but I just didn't have the same connection and we didn't get along. So I asked my brother if he would work with me if I paid him $60 per hour. He agreed. We made several more games together, and he was totally disinterested from the sales aspect. From my point of view, I was hiring him to make my games. Anyway, I can't believe I'm typing the sentence, but my absolute favorite publisher agreed to publish my game. I invented the game and its rules, but my brother was integral to working out details, sharing his ideas, and creating an eye-catching design to get this published. I could not have done this without him. The thing is, all of his contributions were paid for by me at the rate of $60 per hour. So now we come to the obvious conflict. My brother wants a co-creator credit and half the money, but we never discussed terms. But when we were working together without pay, we agreed everything was 50-50. But in my opinion, when he started requiring payment, he was my employee, and anything he did during that time was my property. The reason why I don't think it's fair to share with him, is that I paid him literally thousands of dollars on projects that didn't yield any money for me. So before he started requiring payment, I feel like we both invested our time and skills, so the benefits were both of ours, although nothing ever sold. For him to start requiring money, for me, that seems like he didn't believe in me. And now that I sold the game, he wants back in. I absolutely admit that this game wouldn't exist without my brother's work and talent, but he got his compensation, and I don't plan on sharing ownership of the game with him. As you may expect, my brother complained to parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles. Without exception, they all think I should share with my brother. That really made me second guess myself, since literally 100% of my family thinks I should share with my brother. Am I the a-hole? There's something about this whole thing that makes me upset. Like my brother stopped believing in me. Am I selfish, or should I be able to keep all of the money? And there is an edit, but I'll share that after.
See, that's the thing that's tough about like mixing things with your family and like your business, because situations like this can come up and then they start bringing other people into it. Like, you're both adults, you guys should be able to talk it out or whatever, instead of bringing mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa into it and then making this bigger thing. Now you have like 10 people against you because they feel like, you know, obviously your parents are going to be like, well, you should include your brother, you know, you two worked on it, you should. So there's that idea that's tough. But like you said, you know, no, like you stopped believing in it, you didn't want to work on it anymore, he hired somebody else because you didn't want to do it, he didn't like that person, he worked well with you, so he gave you money, you were his employee during that time, you're no longer his employee, therefore, you know, he should. The assumption was, like he said, the assumption was when they were working on it without getting money, that they would get 50-50 if it ever did take off. But now that's kind of like the, you know, what is it? Kind of like, I don't know how to phrase it, like the rags to riches story. Like, you grew up in the same neighborhood as somebody who became famous later on, and all of a sudden they're calling them like, hey, can remember that time we grew up? And yeah. So no, I don't think he's the a-hole in this situation, but that's why it's like such a bad idea to like mix like family and business ventures and stuff like that.
It was interesting in the comments, a lot of them were like, basically, like, you should lawyer up, because like
come back,
you need to know what legally your brother has a claim to, because if it becomes a big old issue, the publisher might be like, actually,
never mind,
we don't want to deal with all this.
Or what he could do, right, if he wants to give him money, do half and then subtract whatever he paid his brother.
So yeah, I was thinking the same thing, like, hey, if you want it back in a 50, give me all the money back I paid you over the years, because apparently we never had that agreement, and everything's 50-50 still. Yeah,
because like he said, I was investing money, like I had to pay him to work on these things that I was not making money in.
That's sort of tough for me too, because it's like this other guy had no risk, all reward, basically. Right. Like he had to put work and time in, but there was no risk. Like, this guy was paying money. There was risk. Yeah. Like, and he finally got reward, but now he has to split it with a person who has no risk, at all reward. Feels unfair.
Right.
But I think this would be a tough one. And that's why I'm gonna ask my brother and see what he would do.
Right.
Like if it was me and him, and I'm like, hey, actually, I wanna. Can I get some of that? You know what I mean? Can I have it?
Yeah.
And I like that the guy's honest. Absolutely, I could not have made this game without my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Said I needed him. Yeah.
So that makes it also difficult because it's really they could have done without him, but he did pay him money.
Right.
But I'm curious what the actual legal claim is, because all in the comments, there's no lawyers in there, but people they're Google lawyers.
They're Google search fans.
Yeah, and some of them are talking about how, in some places, some country states, it's if you pay someone, you get the copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Others is if you pay someone, you don't have copyright of the stuff.
Right.
But you own the one you got, but they have the original I forgot what the word is for it, license for whatever they made, even though you pay them for it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an edit, and then there's actually an update after.
Okay.
So they said, thank you for all the responses. I posted this last thing before going to bed at night, and I'm still taking in a lot of what you said. One thing I do want to mention is that the publisher has designers who are redoing all the artwork to be more in line with their branding and style. Also, his artwork was not meant to be fully finished or for release. Even though his work was necessary to catch the publisher's attention and sell the game, none of it will be in the final product.
Oh.
So everything the brother did isn't even going to be a part of the game.
It's going to be redone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then in that case, nope, you paid him. The idea was there, the artwork was there, but they're not even going to use it, so yeah, no, he doesn't owe his brother more money. He already paid him the money.
It would be so hard though, because it's damn man, do you throw the relationship away? Even though I'd probably be salty about it, if I ever got angry at my brother or something, I'd be salty. Think about that time I gave you all this money for something that I did for the most part. I don't know. See, it would always be it's hard. I feel it's always gonna be a salty place now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing that sucks too is that he brought the family into it. So if he doesn't give him money, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are gonna be upset with him.
Well, that was the other thing someone said in the comments was the reason why they're all on his side is because he's the one that told them, they only heard his side of the story. Mm-hmm. And it's you need to go tell them your side of the story so they understand.
Right.
Whether he has or not, who knows, but that's what people in the comments are saying. You need to talk to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Or talk to the most gossipy person in your family and let them spread the real news,
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the update. Thanks to everyone for your opinions and advice. After reading them, I felt convinced that I'm mostly in the right. However, it would probably be worth it to come to some kind of agreement. We agreed my brother could keep the money I already paid him, and I'd give him 25% of what I earn on the game for the first 12 months. In exchange, he's going to sign an agreement to give up all the rights to any previous game we created, including the ones that we made before I started paying him. Also, he's not going to take hourly payment going forward, and we will split any other games 50-50. I still think I would have been justified to not pay him. It's worth it to just avoid conflicts and preserve the partnership for future games. If I decide to work with other partners in the future, I'll be able to do that without worries about any claims he might have. So all in all, I'm satisfied with the outcome. Thanks again. Edit, thanks for all the good vibes, people. I'll definitely make a post when the game's on the shelves. To answer your questions, yes, this agreement was written up by a lawyer and signed by both parties, not making that mistake again.
Nice. Yeah. That's the hard part. It sounded
That sounds like something his lawyer told him to do.
Yeah.
He probably did go talk to the lawyer like they told him in the comments, and he's okay, let me... I need to get him in writing so that there is no issues.
Right. Because it sounds like a little... I don't know. I was going to say, he was probably the younger brother.
It doesn't say. I don't think. I wonder.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, so...
It sounds like a little brother thing to do. Like a younger sibling thing to do.
What? Which one?
Everything. The way that he's been behaving.
You think the original poster is the younger sibling?
No, the
other guy?
for the money and all that stuff. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah. Especially since he went to the parents and the grandparents.
Yeah. Mom!
Yeah. You took my money.
Yeah, I thought that was I really like that story. Like that was a good one. Cause it's so tough, and he probably did what was the right move. I think. Even though like I would be salty, but like as long as he's happy and like he gives up all rights on everything, because that's also true. Is like I feel like once you get your foot in the door, probably with a publisher, like, and if you already have all these ideas. Like maybe something else will get published now that like they like what you got. Like maybe they'll see something else they like, and now you have full ownership of it.
Right.
I think for me with my brother it'd be hard because I'd be like I'd still want to share with him. Mm-hmm. If I was the poster and he was the person doing my artwork, I feel like I'd still just want to share it. It's the way I am with my brother, but
yeah. Not all relationships are like that though, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like because even in this case, it's like it's tough because
he's like
because obviously he said like he feels like the guy stopped believing in him.
Right.
He's like I'll keep working towards your dream if you pay me. Right. You know what I mean? So clearly he didn't believe anymore and he was just doing it for the money. This other guy was doing it out of passion and belief that one day he's gonna get a game that makes it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he does, and he's like all of a sudden you're back on board. Yeah. Now that I finally accomplished what I've been working for this whole time and I had to pay you to get us here. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, yeah, that one's tough, but I feel like that was a good conclusion. Like he probably did what he should have done, especially because he gets to keep working with his brother too. So, like,
does he?
Yeah, no, he says they're gonna do any future stuff they do together.
They'll do 50-50.
They'll do 50-50. So,
okay.
Like...
That's what it was.
That's nice, too, because obviously he likes working with his brother, because he tried to pay someone else, and he's like, nah, it's not, like, the same. Like, it works better with my brother, so... like, just to keep that door open, too, is nice. And
right.
That way you don't have any family issues, and you get to skip all that drama.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I don't know much about, like, how board games sell, but he's only getting 25% for the first 12 months.
Right, so depending on
anything that sells after that, and, like, depending on how much it sells in the first 12 months, like... Because if it really if it's a Monopoly game, you know what I mean? Like, Monopoly's still selling after how many years, right? So it's like... He would still only get money for the first 12 months of that. Mm-hmm. Which I would imagine maybe is the biggest... That's probably when the most is sold.
Right.
But, yeah. I don't know. I thought that was a good one. So we actually only have one more left, because that was one of the...
Big ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, will I be... You want to read it?
You want me to?
Yeah, you can do the last one.
Will I be the a-hole if I remove my husband's giant retro game/console collection and clear out his home office without him knowing? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes?
I mean, with just that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't just do that to him, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would say, too. I mean, it's not very respectful of your partner if you're just going to get rid of their stuff without telling them.
Yeah.
All right. My husband and I bought our first home together about 6 years ago. The house is quite small, but it has 3 bedrooms, and the location and plot size are great. I was pregnant at the time with our first child, and we were planning one more kid later on. With 3 bedrooms, the possibility of a private space for everyone should be there. But my husband works from home office, which he has for the past 10 years. When we were viewing the house, I pointed out how space would be an issue, us being a growing family, and him needing a room for his office. He told me that his employer will pay for an office out of house should the need be there. We went ahead and bought the house, and we made a deal. Him using a bedroom as an office is temporary. He will have to give it up for our oldest child when the kids start school at the latest. Now, on to the issue. It has been 6 years, and our oldest is starting school. My husband is a collector of anything retro or gaming related. His office is filled from floor to roof with old games, consoles, etc. His collection also fills our basement living room, which is unusable due to the amount of stuff in there. Has been since we moved in, and a small storage room. So it sounds like he's taking up a lot of the house.
Sounds like a hoarder.
Yeah. I spent the last year trying to get him to start clearing it, but he won't have it. He is flat out refusing to give up his office and also suddenly claims there's no way his employer will pay for an out-of-house office. She was scammed. Mm-hmm. I have been nice about this for all this time, even if his massive hoard is making our entire basement inaccessible. But I have been clear that when our oldest starts school, it is a given that the kid both get a private bedroom and to use the basement living room. I'll add that at the moment, the two kids share a 2.4 meter by 2.3 meter bedroom that basically only fits 2 junior-sized beds and 2 small closets. Sounds like college.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. That's probably sounding like thinking meter stick is like from the ground, like.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all. So like 2.4 is like to the roof maybe.
My husband uses the by far largest bedroom as his office. When I try to have a conversation with him about it, he'll immediately shut it down and avoid the discussion by getting angry and upset. I know it's difficult for him to deal with partying with his collection, but our house just isn't big enough to keep all of it. I'm now considering boxing all of his stuff. I take great care that nothing gets damaged and find some place to store it while he's away next weekend, but I'm pretty sure he'll blow up and throw a fit in front of the kids, and I don't want to expose them to that. That's kind of scary. She's scared that he's going to explode, and she doesn't want to put her kids through that. There's an edit. Do you want me to read the edit, or do you want to respond to that so far?
You can respond first.
Okay.
I mean, I like that she's like thinking about it at least. She's like, I feel like maybe most people at that point would probably just box it up and
throw it away.
I don't know about throw it away. Maybe depending on how much she knows about it, because I'm sure that stuff is worth something. Like we talked about earlier, right? Retro stuff can be somewhat valuable depending on what it is. But yeah, like you put it. I don't even know where you put it. Like, I guess it depends on. They have another relative that wants to hold on to it, or like
they can buy a storage unit and put all their stuff in there.
Yeah, I think she's probably more in the right now because it's like he's not even doing anything with it, so it's like why not just move it? I don't know. So it sounds like he has hoarder tendencies where he's like he doesn't want it to go anywhere. He doesn't want to do anything with it, but he also doesn't want it to go anywhere.
Right.
So, we could hold on to it forever? Like, I don't know. So I feel like she shouldn't just pack it all up and move it, but she needs to find a way that he's going to move the stuff. And, like, even if he's getting angry, like, maybe she needs someone to, like, mediate. Call his mom or something, you know what I mean? Just, like, mediate and be like, hey, like, let's
talk about it.
Let's figure this out because we can't just hold on to this forever. Like, not gonna happen. So, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like he's lost points in the argument because they talked about it before they bought the house, right? Yeah. Before they bought the house, she said, this house looks kind of small. If we plan to have 2 kids, like, we need to have enough space, and you're working from home. So then he promised her that his employer could get him an office outside of the house. So they had that agreement, you know. And then they also talked about, like, pre-plan, right? When our oldest kid gets into elementary school or starts school, you need to be able to have another space for your office. Doesn't sound like they talked about the basement or anything else. It sounds like he just started compiling.
Well, it's 6 years later, right? So
yeah,
it's been 6 years since they brought that up.
Yeah. So I feel like he lost a lot of the points. It's not fair for him to explode on her or for her to feel like she has to walk on eggshells, you know, because she doesn't want.
That's weird too. Like, why is he freaking out?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know.
Well, because you brought up the term hoarders, right? There is that hoarding show, and like a lot of when they go in and they try to clear out their house, the people that have been hoarding these things for years get upset, you know? Yeah. They get super upset that people are touching their things and trying to get rid of them or move them from where they were. Yeah. Right. Edit. I realized from comments that if he's a hoarder, then I'm triggering his anxiety whenever I bring up clearing the room. I decided to try to have one last talk about it, but be tactful and gentle about it. Well, as soon as I entered his office, I guess he knew why I was there, because the second I opened my mouth to talk and he got it confirmed, he became upset. Next thing I know, he's boxing up all his stuff in a fit of rage and hauling it over to his parents. So the rooms are cleared now, and when he was finished, he was completely calm and told me he realized he isn't attached to his collection anymore, and that he's probably been addicted to the collecting itself, not the collection. I suggested couples therapy to get some help with their communication skills, but he's not interested, seeing as the rooms are cleared now and problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
I have any problems. That's the only issue they've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's like deep down holding a grudge.
Right.
They may not need couples therapy from that, but
right.
I don't know. Just depends.
I mean, I feel like the couples therapy might come or stem from like her. She knows what's gonna make him explode, right? So I feel like she's probably seen it before. So maybe she just feels like they haven't been communicating properly, and this one thing has kind of made her realize that, like, whoa, if I get him upset, then he's gonna explode on me, and I don't want our kids to see that.
Maybe. I don't know. She could just be making a prediction too, because she's like, maybe it's escalating every time she brings it up. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, I mean, if it gets, he's gonna get really, based off what she's seen, because he really doesn't want it to go anywhere. If she would pack everything up, he would probably be really angry.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think that's more. I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know if she's suggesting that he's exploded before.
Well, I don't know.
Because she just said she doesn't want to expose the children to that. So.
Yeah. Maybe he's exploded on her, but not the kids yet. So I don't know. We don't know. We're assuming here, but
that was like an interesting. I didn't expect it to end that way.
Yeah.
Where it's like he just boxes it up
It
and
seems
then he's
like
I'm released.
Yeah, it seems like a flip of the switch where he's like, oh, you know what, fine, and he like gets rid of everything. But poor parents, now they have to deal with all the junk
I know
that he has, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I see the vote was like everyone sucks, but I feel like she would suck more if she actually did get rid of everything, but she didn't. Like if she tried to get.
I think it's like even suggesting that she would. People are like, yeah, like that kind of sucks that you would even.
Well, she was thinking of boxing it up and putting it in a place that it would be safe from damage. Like I would see if she just put it outside the house, then that would make her like more an a-hole in the situation. But
yeah, but it'd be like, what if I box up like all the stuff that you want here, and it's like, okay, well now I have to go get it all and bring it back. Like right. That's kind of a.
But then that was his fault because she was asking him to move some of the stuff out, right? Alright, so somebody said, everyone sucks here. Your husband is being incredibly selfish, and you're frustrated enough to take matters into your own hands. This won't end well. You need marriage counseling. Stat. Also, husband needs regular therapy. He's clearly a hoarder, not being able to use the living room to live in. He's having issues.
Called living room for a reason.
Right. And that sucks that, I mean, the house is already small. They have growing kids. They want to play around the house.
Basement, though.
Or the living room and the basement.
I thought it was the living room basement.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Parts of the house that can be used.
Let's see the whole layout for this house. Let's find out.
They said, everyone sucks here, him more for the reasons you've outlined, but I don't think it would be right to do this without at least telling him you're going to do it. It sets a bad precedent, destroys what trust there is, and creates a monster of a conflict that will take a lot of energy to resolve.
I think that's why they're saying, because the question is, would I be the a-hole if I did this?
got rid of his stuff.
So they're answering yes. Like you would, like he sucked, but you would also suck if you did that.
Sonny, come.
Give people what they want.
Sonny. I know. He'll be our outro.
Let's give you the side eye.
Sonny, come. Sonny, come.
Go a little somewhere.
Come here.
Over here.
The people want to see your face. Oh, come closer. There he is. Him and his lasagna. He has like grass under his mouth. Alright. Those are some great stories.
Yeah, the first couple were like pretty odd, but like couple. I like the one with the foster kids.
Right, that was an interesting one.
I like the board game one was like my favorite one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one I thought was okay too. Just because it's like kind of tough, because it's like you can't really get rid of it. Like it'd be the kind of mess to get rid of it, but then like he also needs to like just understand that he has to get rid of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was a hoarder, what would you do?
I don't know, probably talk to you about it if
You
you're like
leave me?
collecting things. I probably wouldn't want stuff taking up our living room or like places that we can use. You're all dusty.
And Chris?
Alright. Well, that is the end of episode 4.
I know, room 604.
Room 604.
We didn't even intro room 604. We just say, hey.
Here's Sunny. He will sign us out. Ready? He has to hit the camera with his dusty paws.
Alright. Until next week.
Until next week.